Hi, Kim. I just wanted to show you briefly what I came up with for this collaborative project assignment. First of all, I just want to say I really appreciate that you are letting us make things that we can use in our class instead of just, these random projects. So I really appreciate that this is actually something I think I can really use. So just a little bit of a background before I go into my Google Classroom to show you the assignment I came up with. Um, just the background on the class. The class is a new class that I've been building all year long, and it's very project based, but we are always looking for ways to supplement with new projects. So I really like that I was able to integrate this assignment into something for next year. So let me go ahead and take you into the classwork page and then bring you down to where I embedded it. So right here, we have a taxes unit, which was, to be quite honest, a little bit dry. It kind of sounds like it might be. And the project we originally had, I wasn't a huge fan of what we did because it was more individual, and it was a go formative that wasn't really engaging and didn't allow for a lot of student to student collaboration. So I felt like this is a project that we wanted to do this year and we were not able to do it because of COVID restrictions. I sent you an email about it. We wanted to write a storybook project or have the students write storybooks and read them to our high school's preschool students. And unfortunately, the preschool did not run this year. We didn't have the little kids in the building, so we weren't able to do it. So I thought, if possible, we would like to do this next year. I decided this is where I wanted to put my focus on this project. So as you can see in here, this is just a typical unit that we have in here. If you click on certain things within here, you'll see, and I can show you, that each day is very structured, and we have a lot of resources that the students could use for this project. So for each of these things, we have notes, we have some cool videos that give explanations about how taxes work. So a lot of things that the students could reference when they do this project. And every day is very typical like that. We have a lot of cool resources that they could go back and look at, and they can use those to supplement and to get ideas for their storybook project. So let me just open up this storybook project. This would be like a culminating project for the unit. Now that they've learned a little bit about little pieces of taxation and the whole process, they could work in groups on this. So this was the original idea, and I just kind of went with it. So I really enjoy having students use Google Slides. We did a project earlier this year where the students had to discuss inflation using Google Slides and find evidence of inflation over time. It was a really cool way to see the kids all contributing to their ideas in the same space. So I wanted to do the same thing for this storybook, also with the idea that I could print their slides at the end and make a nice book that we could print out and read to the preschoolers. So what this looks like, just to walk you through a little bit. First, it has the introduction, and it has basically explaining that the kids are going to have to put tax ideas on the level that a preschool child will be able to understand. So really breaking down some key concepts of taxation so that a little kid could follow along. So that kind of is that higher level thinking that I like to make my students break those down into understandable pieces. So the directions you'll see on the next page as you flip through, I tried to make it so that each step was a different color so that it was a little bit easier for the students to read, just because it is a little bit wordy. But I also want them to be able to refer back to this in one space. So that's why I put it on one slide. So basically what the students are going to do is brainstorm together, come up with an outline that they're going to split up and work on a little bit on their own as like a potential homework assignment, come up with a fun idea for their story, break it up, and then come back together once they've all put their individual pieces in there, try to make it into a cohesive book, and then share it with me so that I could then print it off and give it back to them so they can bind it together and be ready to present to our preschoolers. The next slide you see here, so I try to go in order of the directions. This is where the students would then be all able to, if they would share this with one another as a group, and they would be able to, as a group, as they're working on it, whether it be remotely, which I hope we're not doing, but or in person, be able to type their ideas in the same space and just kind of get an idea before they then go to the next slide where they're going to break up or outline their story. So what I'll instruct the students to do is to break up into pieces this book and then go home and work on it individually, but also encourage them to look at one another's slides as they're working and maybe give some, offer some suggestions or put some animations, or not animations, but illustrations that they could show. We don't want to do animations just because I would like for them to print these as physical books. So as you can see, then this is where they start their book here. And then this is where they can, once they've assigned themselves to certain page numbers, they can go ahead and start working on their story here. So all the way through the end, I have, I think 8, yeah, so actually 10 pages in here. And I'll encourage them to add pages if they wish, whatever they need to get their story told. But I also want to encourage them to keep it as simple and as, maybe 1 to 2 sentences per slide, so that a little child would be able to follow along. So this was the idea that I had. I thought about it right away when I saw the assignment for the week. So it is definitely something I'm planning on using. And I will be sharing this with my team. I actually told them I was working on it, so they were very excited to hear that it has already been, the wheels have already started spinning on this for next year. So they're happy to hear that it's one less thing on their plate and something that we could do for fun to kind of bring us back to the in-person learning environment. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I hope you like it. I'm pretty excited to try it next year and see how the students, either both the young kids and my older students, respond to this task. Thank you.